What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of Washington Commanders: The Aftermath, Episode 3. In today's episode, we're gonna dive into the game yesterday and talk about a lot of things around the Washington Commanders, so forth and so on. So sit tight. We're definitely gonna get right into this. No hesitation.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right. As I stated earlier, that the Washington Commanders hosted the Tennessee Titans yesterday. Now we all know what the game looked like. We all know what the game consists of, and we already know some of the stuff that continues to go on within to this team and to this game. The Commanders had a shot to win this game. They held Tennessee to 21 points. The defensive front was more stellar than before. They racked up 5 sacks. Montez Sweat had a breakout game, which, it was pretty good for him, because we was harping on him for the last couple of weeks. Where's Montez? No sign. But the defense racked up 5 sacks. They held Derrick Henry to 102 yards. Usually Derrick Henry, any other team here have more than that. But, for the most part, we did that. But still, there's also key things that continue to hinder this team. Penalties. This team had 9 penalties yesterday. I think they only had a few, probably I think 3 in the first half. Then they just started getting penalties, holding, 4 starts here and there. And every time it seemed like the Commanders had a drive, it's like they keep getting pushed back. And it's something that they need to be working on consistently. Only up for y'all quarterback is a big issue, bro. Yeah, listen to Ron Rivera comments today about the quarterback situation. Is pretty, from what I have gathered from them comments, looks like we're going to be stuck with Carson Wentz probably another year, because Ron Rivera said today that he believes in Carson Wentz. What Carson Wentz showed him yesterday, pretty much he don't have a risk trading for him, and saying that the difference between the Commanders and everybody else in the division is because their quarterback's been with them for a long time. But nevertheless, also yesterday's game saw poor clock management with Ron Rivera. As always, same thing from the last game. Clock management. You burn a timeout in the first half for no reason whatsoever, where you could have probably forced Tennessee to kick a field goal in that sense instead of going up 21. That would have been 17. Then you get the ball back at the half. Then when you was driving, the play by Cam Sims was a great play, but still, in that sense, you gotta utilize your timeouts smart. You can't just sit there and say, well, hey, let's burn this timeout, and then you was third and 1 on that play. I wouldn't even challenge it. Just go for the first down. You end up getting the first down on fourth down anyway. But still, if you had got the first down, the clock would have stopped initially, and then all you had to do was kept that timeout. And then when you literally was driving down there, when you got that pass interference on Terry, that was the opportunity time. You would have had 3 timeouts, and then you used 2 on that drive, so you would have had 1 left to run a play because you had 29 seconds left. So if you ran a running play and you didn't get in the end zone, then you could have used a timeout to regroup for another play. And then if you didn't get in the end zone there, rather pass or um rather pass or um run, you could have got back at the line and spiked the ball. But again, clock management is a huge issue with this team. Now, I do want to dive before I dive into the rest of this game. Brian Robinson, he's been out since preseason. With the incident that he had. I'm not going to rehash, what happened. We all know what happened. But it was great to see him literally come out there and perform through all of that. That was amazing. And you could tell he's a little winded, but you could tell he's strong. And you could have utilized him or Antonio Gibson actually during that time when you had the fourth down. You could have utilized Antonio Gibson or him, and really you could have used Brian Robinson because he was a bigger back. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do is use a jumbo set and push the line. But again, Ron Rivera just don't think of these things. If he's not right, what he's doing, then it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Salute Seahawk Jose Rodriguez. But at the end of the day, these are the things that's continue to cost this team. You look at everybody in the division right now. Philly's 5-0. Dallas 4-1. The Giants 4-1. Giants literally beat Green Bay yesterday. And Daniel Jones is playing decent. He's not playing lights out, but whatever Brian Daboll got him doing over there is working. And that's probably what Daniel Jones needed, a quarterback's coach or offensive coordinator that could literally bring the best out of him. Now, whether Daniel Jones continue the success at the end of the day is all that matters. I mean, who knows? But for us, the Commanders, it's something that for some reason, we can't never get out of our own way. We have first round talent on the defensive line. Lord have mercy. We had talent back there. I'd rather see Cam Sims or Derek Forrest back there at safety because I think they serve better there. Let St. Jude stay at cornerback. You know what I'm saying? On the other side, find a replacement for Fuller and Barbie McCain. They garbage. When Will Jack, Barbie McCain, and Fuller is on the field, all 3 of them together, we give up passing yards. We get burned. There's pass interference calls, holding penalties, whatever the case might be with these 3 guys. And lo and behold, I was so glad that William Jackson was out of the game. He was saying that his back was hurting. He was having back problems. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter. Carson Wentz threw for almost 400 yards yesterday, averaging 14.4 yards a throw, had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The interception came at the last minute because what I feel is that interception falls on Ron Rivera and Scott Turner, because if you didn't use that timeout, you hadn't used that timeout, or the challenge flag, when you earlier, you would have had that timeout, and Carson Wentz would have been able to regroup. But they was running against the time, so he had to rush and was forced. And lo and behold, a lot of us is not following the Carson Wentz right now. A lot of us is calling for everybody's head to be turned, but we got to be realistic about this, because we could be stuck with Carson Wentz another year, and we could be stuck with Ron Rivera another year. We could still be stuck with Scott Turner, Jack Del Rio. It all depends how the season playing out. And right now, being 1-4, we just witnessed Matt Rule for the Carolina Panthers getting fired. Ron Rivera is not going to get fired because he literally is the GM. He has control of the team. Now, what could possibly happen is that he can fire his OC and defensive coordinator, but that remains to be seen, because he too loyal to them guys. And we just gave Scott Turner an extension, so there you go. But still, I feel, me personally, I just feel that doing timeout on the challenge cost us a little bit, because we could have had an extra timeout, and where Carson Wentz didn't had to rush. Now, Carson Wentz could have set up. Doing the first and goal, when the Tennessee Titans backed off at the goal line, Carson Wentz had a lane he could have ran in, dove into the end zone. Ran behind the blocker or whatever the case may be. You was doing some runs the whole game. What you did, you ran for 15 yards, you scrambled out. So why not try to do a quarterback sneak or something, or run the ball in there? There were so many different ways that we could have scored. Easily, we could have won this game. But the fact of the matter is that um, we didn't. Now we had, we still had injuries. Novell, he's trash as an offensive lineman. Constantly picking up penalties here and there. De'Ami Brown had a good game. He came in for the Jahan Dotson. Me personally, I wouldn't replace him with Jahan Dotson, because the fact of the matter is, De'Ami Brown, he didn't do so well last year, and now he get the opportunity. But that's another weapon you could use on the offense with Terry and with Jahan and Curtis Samuel. Cam Sims, he could come in and be a red zone threat. Now, Logan Thomas didn't play yesterday, but we had Amari Rogers, we didn't use much. We had Cole Turner, he got targeted 3 times, but one of them went over his head, because Carson Wentz always flutters balls over their head. So John Bates had 3 catches for 39 yards. So De'Ami Brown had the 2 big catches. He had he was targeted 4 times, but 2 of them was for 105 yards. And the first one was an 80-yard bomb, which was good, But I still think, can De'Ami Brown capitalize on this game? Say, for instance, that Jahan don't play this week, and we coming up on a short week, because we have to play the Bears at Soldier Field. De'Ami could, fight for some playing time. He could fight over Cam Sims, But I don't think he's going to take the place of Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson, he has 4 touchdowns this season, and he's good in certain areas of the field. So I don't think he's going to take Jahan's spot. I don't think that. Now, I could see them incorporating, especially for the deep throws. I could see they using Brown and Terry in those areas, but Brown is that speedster, I will use him more as that, especially, you know, deep, deep, deep down the field, or, a post. So doing one of the things that I feel that, hey, that will be warrant for him and everything like that to be more in the game. You could use Terry Samuels and Jahan in different areas. You know what I'm saying? Jahan, he could get down the field too. So it is. We have so many weapons, and this it's like we don't know how to use all the weapons for this team. We got running backs, you know, back there. We got wide receivers. The main issue is the offensive line, because nobody can protect this offensive line. The offensive line is like, it's like um it's like swimming through, diving through, swimming, diving in water, because the fact of the matter is that that's how guys, the defenders get through the line, you know. And if they do, our offensive line do try to hold up. Guess what happens? We pick up a penalty for holding. Um, we pick up a penalty for false start. There's so many multiple things that goes on with this team, and I just don't understand why Ron Rivera he's not correcting it. You know, to order for your quarterback to stand in the pocket, and this goes for even if Heineke or Sam Howell's back there. How can we switch to these guys? Because if they're not gonna have time in the pocket, so they're not gonna have time in the pocket to sit there. This is crazy. I mean, you literally have to look at it for what it is. Now they do hold up decently in the run game some, but yesterday we couldn't even run the ball against Tennessee. I think Robinson had more carries than anybody. He had the most yards. He had 22 yards rushing. We had a total of 49 altogether. That's dumb. How can you have just 49 yards rushing and all of them pass through the air? Look if you look at how Tennessee was running Derrick Henry, they ran him in the middle. They did some pull action. And where he could go around the edges and through the gaps and stuff like that. That's how we need to start doing that. We did do that in the Dallas game with Jonathan Williams. We could still do that with Brian Robinson. Now Brian Robinson did get around the edge the first time, but that penalty that got called back because it was a holding call. So we kill ourselves when we have momentum, we kill ourselves. Now, I think the best thing that happened yesterday was Scott Turner in the booth, not on the field, because I think he operates better in the I think he operates better in the box than he do on the field, because it's like he can't see or understand what's really going on eye level on the field. Like I said, everybody offense played pretty good, but one of the main issues still looms this team is that Terry McLaurin still don't get targets the way he need to in the first half. It's always seemed like it's around the second quarter or whatever. Curtis Samuels get more targets than him. Yesterday, Curtis Samuels had 6 catches for 62 yards. Terry did have 5 for 76. Diami had that, like I said, 2 for 105. So, but if you think about it, Terry should at least get close to 100 yards every game. If you find ways to get Curtis Samuel open, why you can't find ways to get Terry McLaurin open? It doesn't make sense at all, because the fact of the matter is that Terry continued to get frees out. Now, I had a discussion today with somebody that's a Washington fan, and we was literally just saying that, yeah, Heineke would get the ball to everybody, but we got to be realistic. Heineke arm is not that strong. Would Heineke be able to throw that ball to De'Ami Brown 75 yards in stride, where he could make the catch and go for a touchdown? A lot of we seen it last year when he underthrew Terry. Terry had to make an acrobatic catch. So we can't get so fixed on Taylor Heineke, which I love Taylor Heineke, but his arm strength is an issue, because with all of the weapons, how will he be able to push the ball down the field? You know what I'm saying? How will he be able to push the ball downfield? That's the thing that we have to look at. Now, Sam Howell is still green. You know what I'm saying? I think if we had just two quarterbacks, behind, or whatever the case would be, and it was just Taylor Heineke and Sam Howell, then I think Sam Howell will probably get, Taylor Heineke will go as far as he could go. But they spent all this money on Carson Wentz. They're going to ride with Carson Wentz until Carson Wentz is really, he ain't playing spectacular, you know what I'm saying? Because, he makes mistakes. He throws interceptions. He still throws interceptions. He threw that interception at the goal line. It just, it's sometimes, to me, I don't want to think this way, but it just seems like sometimes to me, this, like, Ron Rivera is tanking this team. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you look at the draft order, we picking number 4 right now in the draft. After the draft was to start today, we picking number 4. So that goes to tell you. Now, like I said, we have a short week this week. We play Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Then what? We play Green Bay. No, we play Green Bay, Indianapolis, the Vikings, the Eagles. Bro, to be honest with you, if we don't beat the Bears Thursday night, we 1-5. And then we definitely could lose that Green Bay game. We definitely could lose the Colts, the Vikings, and the Eagles again. The only game that we could possibly win is the Texans game, and I think we'll lose that game against the Texans, just because the draft order. I'm just telling you this. If anybody was to look at the schedule right now and say, are we going to be able to win a game? I would tell you no. I don't see us. Atlanta's playing pretty good competitive ball. Houston plays good, but you never know. That game could end up in a tie, because guess what? We could be, both of us could be jockeying for something. But I could see Washington going right now. For instance, if we lose the Chicago game, that's 1-5. We could be 1-6, 7, 8, 9. We could be 1-9 by the time we play the Houston Texans. And then guess what? And if the Texans beat us, we could finish the season, literally finish the season 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1-16. If we finish the season 1-16, I swear, there's no way Ron Rivera should be coming back. Him, Carson Wentz, Jack Del Rio, Scott Turner, all of them. There is no way that they should come. All of them should come back. But like I said, as funny as it may sound, as crazy it may sound, I don't see Ron Rivera going anywhere. I feel that at whatever happens at the end of the season, Daniel Snyder going to tell him he's going to have to get rid of somebody. He could take power away from him, Tell him he need to focus on coaching. They need to hire a real GM, not the one we got right now. You know what I'm saying? Tell him, say, hey, you got 1 year to turn this around, or whatever the case will be. Because right now, right now, Ron Rivera, literally, it's like it's either his way or the highway. Yeah, you got talent there, but you're not utilizing the talent. There's so many different things on this team that it's so bad to where it's hard watching this team play. You think we sit here yesterday thinking, hey, we about to get a win. Nope. We ain't getting no win. What we get a win for? What we gonna get a win at? We ain't getting no win. I mean, we could sit here all day complaining about Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder ain't going nowhere until whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, the NFC East looks so good, except for us. But and then Ron Rivera in his press conference, they was asking him about William Jackson the third. Guess what? He got all testy about it. He was like, "Well, we sat him down, that," and they was like, "Well, who decision that? It was our decision, But then Jackson had to come out and say, I guess he was ticked off because he got benched. But then he said, "Well, you know what? Because he initially came back and say, oh, he sat there and said that his back was hurting, whatever. Because there's something's going on we not really seeing or hearing, and you can listen to William Jackson. Now the trade deadline is coming up sometime soon. I don't expect Washington to make no moves. I don't see them making no trades. Because the thing about it, I would get rid of Fuller. I would get rid of William Jackson and get some people from the practice squad or whatever to fill in roles or add more depth to whatever you got there and roll. I won't be surprised that nobody's going to trade for no Taylor Heineke. So, I mean, we could get that out of our head. Nobody's going to trade for Taylor Heineke. Now, Carolina probably would. Hey, Ron Rivera still got ties to Carolina. He pulled everything else from Carolina. So now I want to go over some of his comments about Carson Wentz. They was asking him in the press conference, I guess today, and they said that, why do you think the teams they was asking him about the quarterback play, about Carson Wentz. So Ron Rivera answer to that is say, why do you think the teams in the division are further ahead at this point? He said, simply, quarterback. All right. So Ben Standing reported on Twitter, said Ron Rivera on why the NFC East teams has jumped past Washington. He stated quarterback. He said, as a follow-up, Ron Rivera is asked what his answer says about Carson Wentz, a quarterback he acquired. He said that he has no regrets trading for Carson Wentz. Okay, you don't have no regrets trading for Carson Wentz, but you knew this. You knew the team needed you knew the team needed a quarterback from the first year you got there. Yeah, Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, he was picked there, but that wasn't a guy. What you should have did is find a way to trade or draft a quarterback so that quarterback could have been your guy. And then that quarterback would have been able to be in the same system for 2 years straight, going into this third year, and where he would have had the same continuity as a Jalen Hurts, as a Daniel Jones, and a Dak Prescott. And even look at Cooper Rush, for instance. Ron Rivera said the difference between the Commanders' rebuild and the others in the division is quarterback, as in they had a quarterback before the season. He said Washington had just got theirs in the offseason. He said they asked him about Cooper Rush, and he said, he said that he fits within the system Well, any quarterback gonna fit with the system if it's been there. And we could say the same thing with Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke been with us for what, 3 years now, and he fits the system. Why not give him the opportunity to be a starter? You know what I'm saying? Why not give him the opportunity and build around him with the offense and allow him to be able to get him to be able to do the things that he needed to do. These are the things that Ron Rivera always, it seems like he always contradicts himself about certain things when he's talking, because these reporters is clever. They do pick up on what he's saying. That's why they always come back at him, and he always get pissed off about certain stuff. He also said that if you look at the teams that sustain success, they are able to build it around a specific quarterback. Now we have a guy we think we have a chance to build around. The way he performed yesterday show what he's capable of. He said that dang it, I missed my quote. Hold up. Shoot. Anyway, what Ron Rivera is literally saying right now is that Carson Wentz is his guy. He traded for him. He believes in him. But the thing about it is, we already see what from 5 games so far, Carson Wentz continue to make mistakes. Right now, Carson Wentz QBR ranks 24th in the league. It's a 38.0. His passer rating is a 86.0, sits 17th. Some of his mistakes have been incredibly untimely, costing the Commanders potential wins, like Sunday game-ending interception. I agree. Mitchell Schwartz said that Wentz interception on the last drive is going to get all the highlights and talk, but his throwaway 2 plays before that was barely out of bounds of the end zone, caught by a defender and around none of his own receivers or teammates, was the most egregiously bad play of the drive, because he almost had an interception then when the guy did caught the ball in the back of the end zone. If he was in, that would have still been a game over. They say Wentz, Brissett, and Kylo, while playing good football, is bringing their squad back, building leads in many cases, and have major grief in critical situations, football moments today. As stated in his column, it says the Commanders do not have a plan B on the roster with Taylor Heineke, who threw only 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 15 games for the Commanders last season. See, there we go. I mean, why keep Taylor Heineke on the team if he's not going to never get the opportunity? Now, yeah, he threw 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions in 15 games last year. So that's literally 1 interception a game. And then last season, as a starter, prompt to train Curley and backup. But for better or worse, the Commanders are on the Wentz coast of the season. That's far the results have firmly planted in the bottom of the NFC East, and that's some of the things that you have to think about, because a lot of people, and because see, we have to realize any mistake Carson Wentz makes or do, he knows that he's going to hit a booze. He knows people going to be sitting there and say, hey, this ain't our guy. This is not our guy. And uh, and lo and behold, I'm glad we didn't trade it for Deshaun Watson with his situation. I'm glad we didn't trade it for Aaron Rodgers with his diva situation. I'm glad we didn't trade it for doggone Russell Wilson with his situation. So, I mean, like I said before, we was better off using that 28 million to get add some depth to the offensive line, or use that money to bring Eric Flowers back. We could have drafted a quarterback, which we drafted one, Sam Howell, or we could have drafted Desmond Ritter or Kenny Pickett, one of them guys that was there. Um, we could have added depth to the cornerback position. We could have added depth to the linebacker position. There were so many other needs that we had needed. You shouldn't have had to go to trade. We could have just rolled with Heineke this year just in case. If you was gonna put all this talent around him, why not give him the opportunity? That's These are the things. That's why it's so doggone mind-boggling. And the people say, "Well, are you happy with Carson Wentz?" No, he's not the answer quarterback, not yet, but give him more time. Yes, but he's not the answer quarterback. Yes, he's the answer quarterback. A lot of people who's taking poll, whether Carson Wentz be here or not be here at the end of the year, is going to be a problem for Washington. And if Ron Rivera doesn't fix certain things with the offensive line, if the offensive line gets taken care of and gets fixed, then this team could probably have some success. If you don't get the offensive line, because the more Carson Wentz keep getting hit, the more he's going to see ghosts. He's going to get too nervous in the pocket. He's going to continue to throw interceptions. And then Ron Rivera is going to forcefully make a quarterback change when the quarterback does, it's not only the problem, he's part of the problem, but he's not the sole problem of the team. There are other things that you really has to you really has to take accountable for. And Ron Rivera is too stubborn in his ways. He won't listen. He sits there and preach, 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 but you're not making changes. You need to hold um you need to hold your coaches accountable, and you're not even doing that. Now, looking at the injury report for this, going into this week, Carson Wentz is on the injury report, for the Bears game. So you got Percy Butler. He did not practice Monday. He's out, with a quad. Sam Kazi, finger, did not practice. Jahan Dotson, hamstring, did not practice. Jonathan Williams, knee, did not practice. De'Ami Brown, groin, limited. Kristen Holmes, cornerback, hamstring, limited. David Mayo, hamstring, limited. Logan Thomas, calf, limited. Carson Wentz, right shoulder, limited. William Jackson, back. He was at full practice. I do not want to see William Jackson on this team. I do not want to see William Jackson play another down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, now Carson Wentz shoulder, and see, this is another thing too, because what if Carson Wentz get hurt in the Bears game? You ain't gonna have no choice but to go to Heineke then. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no choice but to go to Taylor Heineke, and this is one of the things with Carson Wentz you have to understand. If he ain't a turnover machine, he's gonna get hurt, and once he get hurt, that's it for him. You know what I'm saying? And then guess what's going to happen? Washington's going to be looking so stupid because they spent all this money on a guy that is very fragile. Yeah, he might try to do the things that he need to do to honestly try to prepare himself. But at the same time, we shouldn't have never got him, especially all the things that has happened in Philly and in Indianapolis. Now they starting to rear their head right here in Washington. And guess what? Ron Rivera is going to stay stuck with this guy, because that's him. Mm-mm. Um, a lot of like I said, Ron Rivera said he has no regrets with Carson Wentz. So that like I said, you know what that means. Um, Pro Focus football fantasy note. Most in the NFL, Jahan Dawson has 4 touchdowns versus single coverage. Um, and say most in the most in the NFL. So hopefully, I think before I think we play Green Bay next. So Washington will have probably about 10 days off to get everybody back healthy as much as they can before we play Green Bay. A game that is going to be pretty competitive because I think we go to Green Bay. I'm not sure. No, we got Green Bay at home, another home game. You know what I'm saying? These are another good home game. It's like we play at home, then we go there. We got the Vikings at home. You know what I'm saying? Then we got back-to-back road games, and then we got the Falcons at home. I mean, honestly, last year, Taylor Heineke had some bad moments, but we did 1-4 straight, like in the midst of a game. A game we should have beat Green Bay last year. We got a chance to beat them. We definitely have a chance to beat them this year. Let's say, for instance, let's play hypothetical with this a little bit right now. What if Washington beats Chicago? They be 2-4. Okay. They could beat, and then say they beat Green Bay. They be 3-4. They beat the Colts. They 4-4. They back at 500. Okay. Before they play the Vikings. Then you could literally say if you beat the Vikings, you 5-4. You probably lose the Eagles. You back at 5-5. You beat the Texans. You're 6-5. You know what I'm saying? You beat the Falcons. You're 7-5. You split it with the Giants. You 8-6. You probably will lose the 49ers game. You'll be 8-8. No, 8-7. Then you beat the Browns and you manage to beat the Cowboys the last game of the season. So that will put you I'll say 8, 9, 10. That'll put you 10-7. Strange things that happen. But I mean, you could make a run to turn things around, or you could go on the same path that you're on and continue to position yourself for the draft for next year, because right now that's what it's looking like. This is what it's looking like. You know what I'm saying? You can't not poor execution when the team is playing so well. Like I said, the defense played they behind off. Cole Holcomb had a season high 15 tackles yesterday. Jamin Davis literally ran down not ran down, but he got behind Derrick Henry and rolled him down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jose, you could come up. But when your defense plays so well, in certain areas. Not I'll say all, in certain areas, and the offense still can't muster up only but 17 points. Literally, if I was Scott Turner, I would have kept going deep. Yo, Jose, what's going on?
Okay. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jose. I go by Seahawks Jose Rodriguez on YouTube. I know about you too, Scrubs. Shout out to Script. And yeah, I think our teams are in similar position. Could go either way because of our schedule and
Well,
because of our defenses. Honestly,
well, I think I
what do
think
you think?
I think I think Seattle, has. I mean, they have played more competitive than than Washington. Yesterday was the first time since the first
It was
to me to the
competitive,
first
yeah.
game first game of the season that Washington. They play competitive defensive um football, but there's certain areas with Washington that still needs to be cleaned up. Even though Seattle should have won against New Orleans, but they allowed them to come back, what I'm saying, to get back in the game. We held
Actually, we were down by 12, came back, and then gave up a touchdown to Taysom Hill. So that's how
yeah,
that happened. Because
exactly.
our defense can't stop a nosebleed. But anyway, I'll go ahead. I'll let you talk. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine, you're fine. But I was just just going over things that that kind of plagued us yesterday, especially with like I said, with penalties, clock management, a lot of things that Ron Rivera and this coaching staff needs to clean up. And it just seems like it keeps reoccurring each week. Like this probably was one of our best performances that we had yesterday from the defense standpoint. Now the offense did play pretty well, but we still had trouble running the ball. That's another area of concern because our offensive line is still beat up, and we definitely our offensive line we got to find some ways to put the offensive line together. I still say go out there, bring Eric Flowers in, sign him, let him be a catalyst for this offensive line, where they could do things. But Ron Rivera, he's so stubborn. He wants to do the things his way, and right now his way is not working. Everybody got to be on the same page. And if you got offensive coordinators and defensive coordinator, y'all have to be on the same page. Y'all gotta know who is not producing on the field. When you have William Jackson, Fuller, and Bobby McCain on the field, and they're not producing, dude, you got to get rid of them guys. You cannot just keep them guys there. I mean, sometimes, yeah, Jackson and Fuller makes probably the most money on the back end out of them guys. But guess what? If you have to bench them, because what's going to be what effort do your defensive line does if your defensive line does if your back end is constantly giving up big plays. I mean, as soon as Washington scored, Tennessee went right back down the field and scored. That's right then and there. You should be able to hold them. Anytime Washington gets a team third and long or whatever the case would be, guess what happens? We give a first down. Then yesterday we couldn't even convert on third down the whole game until once down the stretch. I mean that just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So
Remind me of something. Carson Wentz is on a one-year deal, right?
Well, I mean he's on a 1-year deal, but his contract, if they pick him up, they will have to pay, if they pick him up after this season, they have to pay him another portion of his contract, I guess, from Indianapolis. So, and
if they don't,
and if they don't pick him up, then it doesn't hurt us in no way because we already paid him. We already paid him that $28 million for this year.
On a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but the way Ron Rivera has described this today, it doesn't seem that he's going to you know, part ways with Carson Wentz. I mean, Carson Wentz would. I mean, he's not playing great, and he's not playing. He's not playing good. He definitely ain't playing great, and he still continue to make. He still continue to make mental mistakes. That's costing the team a lot. So, but Ron Rivera, his stubbornness is sticking with him. So, I mean, rather he decide next year and say, "Oh, you know what? Oh, well, we'll stick with Carson Wentz here." But you could only stick with Carson Wentz for so long, because if you go another 3 games and he's not improving, how can you stick with him? How can you go into next season and say, okay, well, this is the guy?
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a top, let's just say you guys have a top 5 pick, you don't think can I say Redskins? Redskins?
I mean, that's fine. That's fine.
You don't think the Redskins are gonna pick a quarterback with a top 5 pick?
Well, that's a good question, because the thing about it is, with Ron Rivera and the way his mind works, I won't be surprised he do pick up a quarterback, because this year quarterback class is very phenomenal, because you got CJ Stroud, you got Bryce, you got Bryce Young, you got all. I mean, you got all of these. Yeah, you got all of these guys, but Ron Rivera will be, dumb to pick another quarterback. When you need offensive line, you need linebacker help, and you need cornerbacks.
That is true.
But and my thing is this: if we do have a top 5 draft pick, I will want to trade out to get multiple picks, not picking. Now, if there's a top offensive lineman, because the thing about it is we gave away a lot of draft capital for Carson Wentz.
That was,
you know what I'm saying? We gave up some, I think, a third. Well, it depends on how his contract. If he plays 70% of the snap, it'd be a third. It'd be a second if he, whatever the case might be. But we got to get draft capital back. So this is why I don't see us winning many games. I think I see us be positioned more into the top 5, top 10, or really the top 5 of the draft. And I see us trading. I see us trading at. Well, Seattle has a lot of draft capital, so therefore, I mean, say for instance, like Seattle has all them first round picks.
We have 2 first round picks and 2 second.
Yeah, see, for instance, say for instance, that Washington finished top 5 or top 3 in the draft, and for the draft, they could easily trade with Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Give Seattle that spot to get a late first round from Seattle, and get some second round picks, or a third. And guess what?
Well, it's not going to be a late first. Mm. We are going to have 2 top.
So,
with the way the Broncos are playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, I just think that right now that with the draft position with Washington is that I would trade out, address all the needs that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because if you gonna stick, because like I said, he's most likely going to stick with Carson Wentz. If he sticks with Carson Wentz beyond this season and we finish in the top 5, there's no way. We have to pick an offensive lineman. And if he trades out of their situation, then you need to draft I would draft 2 offensive linemen, draft linebackers and cornerbacks. I would use the draft just to address defense and offensive line solely. I wouldn't even try to add anything else on offense because we have everything on offense. We just need to shore up that offensive line and fix the cornerback and linebackers situation. If we do that, then the team really could come in whole. And then we still got worry about Deron Payne, whether we gonna bring him back next year. Then you still got Montez Sweat. So there's a lot of decisions at the end of the season Ron Rivera gonna have to make, and he's gonna have to literally fill it. Now we do have Federa Mathis coming back next year to fill in the hole. So maybe he could. I mean, well, I don't think he could get something for Deron Payne because I think for Deron Payne most likely a walk. But at the end of the day, these just a lot of things that right now I feel like we supposed to be heading in the right direction, and it's like we continue to go backwards, and I think we're not really putting ourselves in a position to succeed. It's like Ron Rivera, they coming out and saying all the right things, but at the end of the day, you're not really doing anything. It's like we got them guys go out there. You can see the frustration on these guys' face. Terry McLaurin, he's not getting the ball enough. You know what I'm saying? He's just paid him. Yeah, you just paid him. Why are you not getting him opportunities? There's packages that you could get him. But I understand, Scott Turner, you familiar with Curtis Samuel. But guess what? Curtis Samuel was hurt all last season. Terry had 3 seasons straight with 1,000 yards. Don't you think that guy should be more valuable than a guy that's just coming off an injury and working his way back? We just drafted Jahan Dotson. He leads the team with 4 touchdowns. De'Ami Brown had 2 touchdown passes yesterday. Terry only got 1 touchdown on the season. 1 touchdown when he should be targeted way more than what he's being targeted at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. Now, Brian Robinson came back, so most likely he'll work his way back, and probably most likely by some point of the season he'll be taking over the starter role. We can still use Antonio Gibson in other areas. Just saying thing with J.D. McKissick, whatever the case might be. But you just don't want to. The offense has to be different. I think you really have to sit down with Carson Wentz and find out really what works for him, because what you're doing now with him, his athletic ability isn't there no more. So he's pretty much is like a pocket quarterback that
but he was never good at being a pocket.
Yeah, because he used to play reckless. He used to run out the pocket all the time. That's how he got hurt. But now but if you look at most of these offensive coordinators, like I was bringing up Brian Daboll earlier with what's the guy named Daniel Jones. If you had Brian Daboll as our offense coordinator, or if our head coach, he would have been able to tweak some of Carson Wentz's mechanics. If you look at Daniel Jones, he's not perfect, but you could see some change where you could reel certain things in with him to make him understand. Frank Wright was with Carson Wentz, and he couldn't do anything with him. But I believe certain people just have a knack of changing certain quarterback mechanics. Cam Newton had the worst quarterback mechanics there was, and Ken Dorsey helped with that. Scott Turner didn't help him. You know what I'm saying? Ken Dorsey was the quarterback coach. And that's what I don't know if we got one or not. I just have to look. But I feel if we don't have one, we need a quarterback coach, because that's something like that could help Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't believe it is. But anyway.
Can I ask you one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. If you could replace The owner or the coach? Which one would you replace?
Well, I'll go the owner first,
I
because
agree.
then if you go with the owner first and bring a new owner in, the coach gonna get fired right behind them anyway.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Thanks for having me up.
oh, no problem.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for your support on the channel. This
Of
comes
course.
to another conclusion of,
As a matter of fact,
huh?
on Thursday, me and Scrub are going to be live.
Oh yeah, I told Scrub I definitely check out the show
So
on Thursday.
you should definitely come through.
Oh, I will. I
on
definitely will.
To my channel.
I definitely will. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Oh, no problem. All right, this is another episode going down to watch the Commanders Aftermath. I will have a special edition of the Aftermath on Friday, but I'm not going to tell y'all who I have. So therefore, I will have two special guests for my special edition of the Aftermath on Friday. So you just have to wait and see and check it out. I'm not going to tell you, but anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Go Commanders for what it's worth, and I'll see you on the next time. I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.